Golf X-Ray 5 Charlie Hotel Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot QRP station returning. Thanks for coming back to my call. The name here is Mark Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I'm down in Sidcup in Kent, about 15 miles southeast from the city of London. Golf X-Ray 5 Charlie Hotel Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Fox QRP.
Charlie Hotel. I'm sorry I missed the name there. You were spelling it out, and I'm afraid I failed to write it down. So if you give me that on your next over, I got the fact that you're near London and your QRP. Name here is Paul, Papa Alpha, Uniform London, Paul, and we're operating from Watermill, which is about 10 miles south of Chester, called Stretton Watermill. And a beautiful day. Nice and sunny, we're out in the fresh air. Members of the Chester and District Radio Society. Your report there was about a 5/6, a 5/6. So back to you, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie Foxtrot. This is Golf X-Ray 5, Charlie Hotel.
Golf X-Ray 5 Charlie Hotel Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot QRP. Paul, absolute pleasure for you to come back to me today, especially as you're a Mills on Air station. The name is Mark, that's Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo. As I say, we're just southeast of the city of London, currently running between 3 and 4 watts, just 3 and 4 watts into a 90-foot long wire. And the transceiver that I'm using is a little Chinese-made micro SDX 8-band transceiver. I'm sure that you've seen them. This one's working particularly well on 40 meters, but yeah, running, as I say, about 3 to 4 watts peak. Back to you, Paul. GX5 CH M0 JCF/QRP.
Charlie Hotel. It's okay, Mark, that's absolutely fine, and you are Q5, and congratulations, the 4 watts is exceptional on a busy man on Saturday afternoon with all the mills on the ability. Whatever you're doing now with your 90-foot long wire, you're doing a great job here in the northwest of England. This weekend there are a lot of mills on. This is the Chester and District Radio Society. I just put the station on for the day. We'll be taking you down later in the afternoon. Running a doublet antenna. An OSR K3 transceiver, 100 watts. And we do have a vertical antenna here, which we might use a little bit later on if needs be. The temperatures are beautiful. It's bright and sunny here. And really nice. This windmill dates, watermill I should say, watermill dates to 1351. So it's been here a few years, Mark. Back to you, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie Foxtrot. This is Golf X-Ray 5, Charlie Hotel Portable.
Yeah, Golf X-Ray 5 Charlie Hotel Portable, Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot QRP station returning. Well, I've got all that information down, and yeah, it's sounding really good, and it's always good to work non-standard call signs. It's always good when you're calling for a club station or a special call, etc., to come back to you. But yeah, I think the distance between us must be well over 200 miles as well, which is always nice when you're operating QRP. Forgot to give you your report as well. Your report is 5 and 6 with QSB down to about 5 and 4, and you're peaking sometimes 7, but for the logbook you're going down as 5 and 6, Paul. Okay, Paul, yeah, I did notice the band was very crowded, and I was having trouble. I tried to call into a few of the mills on the air stations, but I was just not being heard over the pile-ups, and that is the problem with operating QRP and trying to break into a pile-up. It's always going to be difficult unless you catch that very right moment. So I always find in that instance it's best to find a bit of a frequency, a bit of a gap in the frequencies, and just call CQ. And if I get a couple of returns, I'm happy with that. So I'll hand it back to you there, Paul. A GX5CH portable. This is M0JCF/QRP.
About 400 yards of us. We've got a golf course back to the rear of us here, so it's the occasional shout and fall to disturb the peace and quiet. So let me carry on, but it's the frequency mark, see how else you can work. There are certainly plenty of people there today. Mike Juliet, Charlie Foxtrot, GX5, Charlie Hotel Portable for a final.
Yeah, GX5CH portable M0JCF/QRP. Before you go, Paul, and thank you again for coming back to me, could you give me your personal call sign as well? It'll always be nice that if ever I clock the personal call sign, that we can discuss that we had this conversation as well, especially when I'm using one of my higher powered radios. I can just remind you that I do like a bit of QRP. But I wish you very best 73. I say have a great afternoon. Enjoy the portable operating. Don't let those batteries go too flat too quick. And I look forward to the next time. But if you just as a passing comment, give me a personal call sign and I'll get that in my paper logbook. Cheers for now and have a great afternoon. GX5CH portable M0JCF/QRP. Just listening.
Charlie Foxtrot from GX5 CH portable. Okay, Mark. And I was just watching the estimator there as you had me over. He was just hovering up towards the net 7. So we've got a good propagation between us this afternoon. My own call is G3TZO, Golf 3 Tango Zulu Oscar G3TZO. You'll find me there on QRZ.com. This is not far from my home QTH, probably about 5 miles. I'm in a little village called Fleetwood, or Trepwood. And we're the closest village to where we are here really is Tilston. But this is a small hamlet called Streatham and just a few houses strung about, but a very picturesque little part of the world, Mark. So 76 to you, and nice to have spoken to you. Hopefully it'll work again from home QTH, Mark. 76 for the voice of the Chester Radio Society. M0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, GX5CH portable.
Yeah, cheers, Paul, and have a great afternoon. And appreciate you giving me the personal call. I will listen out for you in the future for some good 40 or 60 metre, maybe even 80 metre into G. Cheers, mate, and bye-bye for now. QRZ, this is Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, QRP, just 3 or 4 watts. Yeah, CQ40. This is Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie Foxtrot, QRP, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie Foxtrot, QRP, calling 40. CQ40. This end is Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I'm just about 20 kilometres or 15 miles southeast from the city of London in the town of Sidcup in Kent. Back to you, Golf 4 Bravo Golf X-Ray, please correct me if that's wrong. This is Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, QRP station.
Yeah, it's okay, Mark, flying M0J. Bravo George X-ray. I believe you've got the call right. I understand you're running QRP. Not a bad signal. You're about a 5x5, and as long as the QSB doesn't take you down into the noise, we're copying you okay, Mark. I understand you're near Sidcup in Kent, 20 kilometres southeast of London, so fine business on that. Name this end is Derek, spelled Denmark, Echo, Radio Echo, Kilo. QTH is 7 miles north of Poole on the sunny south coast. So back to you, M0JCF. G4B GX, over.
Yeah, Golf 4, Bravo Golf X-ray, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Fox, QRP station, coming back to you. Derek, an absolute pleasure for you to come back to my CQ call on this crowded Saturday afternoon on 40 metres. Your signal, 5 and 9. Thank you for the 5 and 5. I'm very pleased with that. But your signal, 5 and 9, steady around the 5 and 8, but did peak 5 and 9 a few times. I'm running just between 3 and 4 watts today, 3 and 4 watts. The antenna is just a 90-foot long wire antenna, so it's just a random wire antenna with a 9-to-1 unun and then an old MFJ tuner just to stop the rig from getting hot. And the rig itself is one of those tiny micro SDX Chinese 8-band transceivers. So a great little rig, had it since October. And every now and again I use it to call QRP on, and I'm getting great results. You can get a mixed bag with these radios, you know, it's a poke and hope sort of thing, and I appear to have got a good one, set it up correctly, and make regular contact. So back to you, Golf 4, Bravo Golf X-ray, Derek in Poole in Dorset. This is, or near Poole in Dorset. This is Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Fox, QRP station in southeast of England.
Just about 90% copy there. A little bit of noise came up and we probably lost 10% of your over. M0JCF G4BGX returning. Yes, okay, about running 3 or 4 watts, Mark, on the 90-foot long wire. We were certainly getting to this QTH okay, and we could just about make a QSO of it. With low power QRP this afternoon and a quite noisy, extremely busy band, you're going to be struggling a wee bit, but we got you in the log, so no real problems. Mark, I'm going to leave you, let you work some more stations. 73's to you, stay safe, and good luck with the QRP activity there. M0JCF G4BGX, clear and QSY. Cheers again, Mark.
Yeah, much appreciated, Derek, and thank you very much for coming back to me. A pleasure, and I hope we can do it again in the near future, and I'll tell you about all of the big old valve radios that I also like to operate. Take care, have a great weekend. Bye-bye for now.
73's, Mark, stay safe, and thanks for the QSO. G4BGX QSY.
Yeah, stay safe in 73. This is Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, QRP, QRZ. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40. This is Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, QRP. This is Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, QRP, calling 40 metres. CQ, 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 CQ40, CQ, 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 CQ40, CQ40, X-ray uniform X-ray, I believe that is. Hopefully I didn't get all the X's mixed up. This is Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, QRP. The name is Mark, Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I'm just in Sidcup in Kent, about 15 miles southeast from the city of London. So back to you, and Golf 8 X-ray uniform X-ray. This is Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, QRP. I'll give you a report on the next over.
Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, QRP. This is Golf 8 X-ray uniform X-ray. Good afternoon. I think it's afternoon by now. Mark, name here is Jim. Juliet Indigo Mike, and QTH is just south of the town of Rugby in Warwickshire. Nice to meet you, Mark, for the first time, I think. I don't recognise that call sign at all. So, and I'm not a frequent user of 40 metres, but nice to meet you for the first time. Yeah, you're 5 and 7, Mark. 5 and 7 here in Warwick, on the Warwickshire Northamptonshire border. So back to you, GHXUX, back to Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie Foxtrot, QRP.
Golf 8, X-Ray, Uniform X-Ray, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie Foxtrot, QRP. Jim, a very good afternoon to you, and yeah, very nice to meet you for the first time, I'm sure, on 40 metres. You know the name, you know the QTH. The other technical information is I'm running just about 3 to 4 watts, 3 to 4 watts into a random long wire. It's 90 feet long with a 9-to-1 unun and then just an MFJ tuner just to bring everything to looking correct, we'll say. The rig itself is one of those little Chinese micro SDX 8-band transceivers. I bought it last October, cost me £100, and once set up correctly, working really well as a little tiny QRP rig, about the size of 2 packets of cigarettes, I would say, side by side. That gives you an idea. If you've never seen one, gives you an idea. It's a fantastic radio based on the design by DL2MAN, Manuel, and what he did is he took the QRP Labs OCX, or is it QCX, CW transceiver, added SSB to it, and lo and behold, we have an SSB capable transceiver. Lovely little box. As I say, this is the Chinese knockoff, but I do have an official DL2 man kit, which I've yet to assemble. I only picked it up on Thursday night from my club. So with all of that information, I'll go back to you. I believe you're about a 5 and 8 on the peak, and it's coming out regular around 5 and 7. So there you go. Thanks for the 5 and 7 to me as well. G8 XUX M0 JCF/QRP.
G8 XUX MO JCF QRP. Okay, thanks for all the info there, Mark. Yeah, you're about 5 and can be 5 and 8 actually sometimes. A little bit of noise on the signal. I'm getting some QRN, but not too bad. Yeah, thanks for all the info on the QRP rig. It's something that I've seriously thought about because I live out here in the country and I do a lot of walking and biking, so I quite fancy getting out and about with a portable rig. At the moment, my transceiver at the moment is an ancient Kenwood TS530S. One of the old. It's basically a bit of a sea anchor. Weighs about half a ton. Got the couple of valves there in the final section. Bit of a pain to tune up every time I want to switch bands, or even sometimes switch frequencies. But it's still working after 40 plus years. So. But I think I deserve a new rig. Anyway, yeah, so I was looking at those little Jago rigs. They seem to get a good report, good reviews for them. So who knows? I might get out on the out and about portable one of these days. What else can I say? Weather here. WX is sunny, 16 degrees, quite a few clouds, bit of a north wind, but not too bad. But a lovely day, albeit. Working outside here working outside in the shack anyway, without a coat or pullover on for the first time this year, so that's rather nice. Anyway, Mark, I'll hand it back to you and and let's get on working some more safety traits. So anyway, back to you, Mark. G8XUX, back to Mike 0. Charlie Foxtrot, QRP.
Yeah, Golf 8, X-Ray Uniform X-Ray, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot / QRP are running just 3 to 4 watts today. Do you know what? I know the rig that you're talking about, the 530S. I know it very well, and I'll tell you why, Jim. I actually am running myself an old Trio Tango Sierra 520S, also a hybrid rig. And an analog dial and all of the lovely goodness that comes with operating a radio like that. All of the faffing around, tuning it up and all the rest of it. I love it, mate. I absolutely love it. I've got a few old rigs here. I've got a Swan 350, which I need to build the power supply for. A Kodar AT5 that I've restored. And that's top band and 80 meters AM. And I've got a pair of summer camps, who built under license for Yaesu, a pair of FR100B and an FL100B, and for 2 meters, although I've got more modern rigs as well, for 2 meters I've got a Tango Sierra 700 all-mode analog rig. So you can see I like my old Trios and Kenwoods. And on Thursday I picked up from my club, which is the Cray Valley Radio Society in South East London, I picked up a very, very nice ICOM IC740. So you can see I like my old rigs as well as the more modern Chinesey stuff, etc. But I do like the old stuff. WX down this neck of the woods, very similar to lots of parts of the country today. We've got broken sunshine. We've had the odd tiny shower, not enough even for the plants to like enjoy. So we've had a few tiny little showers, Jim, but as I say, nothing that's really going to stop you going outside. When the broken cloud actually breaks and we got the sunshine, it's lovely down this neck of the woods. G8XUX M0 JCF / QRP.
Yeah, okay, cool, Mark. Yeah, excellent. Sounds good. Yeah. Thanks for all the info on your ancient analog. Yeah, I used to have an old ex-army general coverage receiver, but that was lost many years ago. But yeah, I've still got I've got an old general coverage. I've got a Trio, which is called Trio then, but it's basically Kenwood R1000, which funnily enough, after 40 years of sterling service, gave me started going wrong last week, and just reading the digital readout was 39.965, something like that. Anyway, apparently a fairly common fault due to a dry solder joint near a heat sink on the power supply, and lo and behold, sort of found out where it was, reflowed a bit of solder onto it, and it was operating again. So I thought, well, damn, that's my chance to find a new rig gone, because this doesn't work now. I can't find a new rig if I've got the old one working, but yeah. So that's the state of things here. Yeah, I'm running about 100 watts on the old TS530. So that's about all I need these days. And also, as I said, I'd like to QRP. You know, I admire these people like you working for TS and get it and having QRPs that are all over the place. You ever work for DXC, Mark? Have you tried that? Back to you, Mark.
GAXUX M0JCF/QRP. Jim, I'll tell you what happened. Just as you asked me that question, and you asked me, have I worked, question mark, blah, 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 some local noise come up, real loud pulse noise, and just as you said the name Mark, it disappeared. Can you ask the question again, please, Jim? Back to you.
Yeah, Mark, I'll tell you what, I've got a lot of noise as well now. Your signal's got a little bit of QSB, so your signal's dropped to about 5.6. So I can only give you about a 4.6 at the moment. But yeah, what I was saying was, have you tried DXing on the sort of 20 metres, 15 metres, etc. with on QRP with your 3 or 4 watts? Back to you, Mark.
GAXUX M0JCF. Do you know what, Jim? No, I haven't. Now, I have been DXing on 15 and 10 metres the last 4 or 5 weeks with my Tango Sierra 520 Sierra. I've been using that and DXing into South Africa, South America, North America, etc. and doing really well on 15 and 10 metres, but no, I haven't tried calling CQ40m/QRP. So that is something that I'm going to get round to. At the moment, I'm quite enjoying this radio on 40 metres and 80 metres. I do have an FT817 that I've started using again, and obviously that's a QRP rig. That's 4 or 5 watts, and I'll probably use that soon and call CQ40x/QRP using that. I find, you know, it's better to call /QRP than it is to try to jump into a pile-up or a contest station or something like that. You know, they just don't hear you. Far too many people calling, and you know, like the strongest one is always going to win unless you catch it just right and they catch the QRP bit, in which case they pounce on you. But generally, I'm not going to sit here calling and calling and calling into a pile-up for like 5 or 10 minutes when I could sit here like I've done today. You're my 3rd contact since I started calling CQ40 QRP. So, you know, I'm quite happy to work into G, Continent, Era, Scandinavia, etc. QRP on 40 metres, 80 metres. As I say, you know, like on the other bands, I tend to go up in power. That's not to say that I don't use QRP. The last couple of sporadic E seasons, I've been operating on 10 metres QRP calling, and of course the sporadic E, you'll get some great contacts, especially into Europe and Eastern Europe, and sometimes in the UK. You know, it depends where the sporadic E clouds are, but generally, I mean, I think I've just given you a long answer to say no. I do ramble on, Jim. Back to you. Golf 8, X-ray, Uniform X-ray, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie Fox, QRP.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Mark. GAXUX. That's MO. That's M0JCF QRP. Yeah, Roger on all that about the pilots. I mean, you know, I'm working, trying to work 20 metres, and even with 100 watts sometimes it's just impossible to make yourself heard in a pilot. When usually the Russians or the, more often than not, there's an Italian station, you know, running sort of kilowatts and splattering all over the band. So yeah. Okay, Mark, I'm gonna say thank you to you now. I've got to go in and get myself a bit of lunch, and best of luck to you for the rest of the day, and hopefully you'll get a lot more contacts. So QRP back to M0JCF QRP.
Yeah, G8XUX M0JCF/QRP returning for the final. Jim, absolute pleasure for you to come back to me. I'm just checking because I keep a paper logbook, and you called in to me at 13:38, and we're now at 13:53. So you know this is what I like about 40 meters into G, and when I'm operating this sort of radio at this sort of power, you know, you don't just get a quick report and bang, they disappear. You get to have a conversation with someone. You get to know that person. Very as tenuous as it is, it's always far more interesting. You know, I can have 3 or 4 conversations, and that will beat 25, 5 and 9, 73 next, you know, any day of the week. And I do understand that sometimes with the language barrier, etc. I mean, I do it when I speak French and I speak German and Spanish. You know, I literally, it's what I learned at school, what I can remember. And you can't have a conversation. You can exchange pleasantries, etc. You can give a bit of information, but you're never going to have that full-blown conversation. So I don't mind that. You know, if a German station was to call in now and his English wasn't on par with mine, and my German isn't on par with his, then, you know, just to swap a report and everything is great. You know, that does me just fine. But these conversations into G, especially Ireland and Scandinavia, they're very good English speakers. You know, I'll take them any day. So listen, Jim, you have a fantastic weekend, what's left of it. Enjoy any sunshine that you've got, and I'll just say as a passing comment, I do know rugby in as much as I remember as an apprentice telecom engineer, 70s and 80s. I went to rugby radio station where we climbed a few of the antennas there before. I mean, I think they're all gone now, aren't they? You could always see them as you drove up the M1, and I believe all of the antenna towers are gone. But it was that and Leafield in Oxfordshire. There was the radio station there, maritime radio station, and we used to do a lot of training at Leafield. But yeah, we went to rugby once just to learn how to safely climb up and climb down an antenna tower. So that's how I know rugby. All the very best, mate. 73, take care, and look forward to the next contact with you. So I'll say bye-bye for now. G8XUX M0JCF/QRP.
Back to you, Mark. Just before I go, I used to be able to see the rugby radio, Mark, from my QVH, and they've all gone, as you say. But there's a rugby radio club that still operates their club premises, I think, in one of the old buildings there. Anyway, I'm going to go now, Mark. Love to see you, and hear you rather, QSO with you, and I will hope, I'm sure we'll meet further down the log, they say. Have a great day there in Sidcup, and I'll, as I say, see you further down the log. Bye for now, Mark.
Yeah, cheers, Jim. You take care, and great weekend. QRZ, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot /QRP. CQ40. This is Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot /QRP. Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot /QRP, calling on 40.
I think it was Golf 0, Oscar Romeo Golf.
Golf 0, Oscar Romeo Golf, and I must put a slash through the 0 because I'll get that all wrong later on. G0 ORG M0 JCF /QRP. This is Mark Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo in Sidcup in Kent. We're about 15 miles southeast from the city of London, and I'll give you all the technical information and you'll report on the next over. But back to you there. G0 ORG M0 JCF /QRP.
Yeah, just give me a last to the suffix again in phonetics. Can you give me the Juliet Charlie? Was it Juliet Charlie X-ray?
No, it's a Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. Back to you.
Yeah, absolutely fine, no problems at all. I just couldn't get it there from the first time round. The Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot stroke portable G0ORG. Fine business, Mark. Well, you're Q5 up here into Suffolk. I'm in near Ipswich, and you're about 5 and 7. 57 with me, so very nice signal from you. Name is Neil, November Echo India Lima. Neil, near Ipswich in the county of Suffolk. Mike 0 Japan Charlie Foxtrot portable G0ORG. I wonder what the station details are. Go ahead.
Yeah, G0ORG M0JCF slash QRP. I'm not portable, Neil. I'm slash QRP. So I'm actually at home. The radio that I'm using is the Chinese-made micro SDX, so mu SDX 8-band transceiver. Bought it last October, cost me £100, and it fits in the palm of your hand. I don't know if you've seen them before, but there's lots of versions of them around now. There are official versions as well, and I'll come to that in a moment, but I'm running about 4 watts, just 4 watts peak into a 90-foot long wire. So that's the micro SDX 8-band transceiver from China. I'm running 4 watts into a 90-foot long wire. How'd you copy that there, Neil? Golf 0 Oscar Romeo Golf. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot / QRP.
Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot with QRP G0ORG. Fine then, Mark. Yes, I think obviously that's a good little radio. I've seen them before. I fancy one of those for sort of pocket portable work and about for CW as well. But I've got to wait until I can get the bank balance sorted out. They're a good little radio. I noticed a lot of the QRP guys in Sprat use them. They're very often appearing in the GQRP Club newsletter, and I think they're very, very successful for a nice little compact rig. I know that a lot of these rigs have their little foibles in the way they work, but it's certainly the way you have to operate them and push buttons and this, that, and the other. But boy, that's sounding great, Mark. I think the antenna is helping quite a lot though with the signal. That's quite a nice length there, mate. No, I'm just running here with a dipole, and I'm just running about 150 watts at the moment. Probably don't need that much anymore, but I put it on because I was talking CQ and stuff. I put that on for a while. Anyway, Mark, back to you. M0JCF with QRP G0ORG.
Yeah, G0ORG M0JCF QRP. Yeah, the 150 watts. So if you think about it, when you do the calculations and you convert watts into decibels and then decibels into S points, you can see that you gain, yes, you do gain a lot, but you don't, if you know what I mean. In S points, you might gain a couple of S points between, say, my 4 watts and your 150. You might gain a couple of S points, 2.5 S points, but where it matters is obviously on a band like this that gets very, very noisy, and the difference between S5 and S7 can be a big difference, you know. So I like to just call CQ QRP using a radio like this, and I make videos that I just stick on YouTube, and just to sort of generate the interest, etc. So it is a fun little rig. I say it cost me £100, but having said that, I was at my club on Thursday evening. I belong to the Cray Valley Radio Society in Eltham, southeast London, and we've just done a group buy of the same rig, or not the same, the similar rig, but it's the official kit. from the actual, person who developed this radio and designed this radio. And we bought the kits. Now, the kits worked out at £50 each. Of course, you've got to be good with a soldering iron and very good eyes, because it's all surface mount technology. And of course, you're building something that has got very good support in the community, etc. Now, my club, to keep that cost down to about £50 per kit, we had to buy around 30 of them. So, that's what, if you buy them individually, they're very, very expensive, and probably prohibitively expensive for what they are. But the ones we bought at the club, it's called the True SDX or the True SDR, can't remember. But the TR is in brackets. So if you was to Google bracket, open bracket, TR, close bracket, and then uSDX, you'll be taken to DL2Man, DL2MAN, Manuel's website, and the various forums, and you can see what happened is he sort of developed the first radio, and then the Chinese copied it, and of course I'm now using a Chinese copy. So what he did is he sort of developed it further and came out with the True, and basically all he's asking for people that are copying his design is just just pay something, just towards the like a license, and do it that way, but of course you can't stop the other side of the world ripping off absolutely everything. You're never going to stop it, and I would imagine that the True SDX will be cloned to death before you know it. But as I say, we did a club group buy, and we bought these radios, and the idea is to make it a club construction project. So as a club, we can all get our heads together on the construction side of it. I mean, I've been constructing since 1974, so I'm sort of relatively okay with building stuff. Now, of course, you've got other club members that are relatively new to the hobby, and the construction side of it wasn't their first introduction into amateur radio or electronics. They come from an operating side maybe. So it's going to be a great project, and I'll be looking forward to using that one as well, because whereas this one it's a fun radio to use, it's it's not hand built by me, whereas the other one, albeit kit form, it will be hand built by me, and that sort of gives you a bit more satisfaction. Back to you then, Neil. G0 Oscar Romeo Golf Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot QRP.
Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot G0 ORG returning. Yeah, absolutely. Well, they clone these things and clone them, don't they? I just had a quick peer through your QRZ. That's a lot of radios. You've got a lot of radios there, and there's some goodies amongst them, I can say. A couple of things there that I used to drawl about when I was first licensed, and a little bit later. One of them being you've got the TR751, the all mode VHF radio. Boy, I used to dream of having one of those for a long, long while. I used to work sort of 2 meters and 77s mainly, and they came out, and I thought, I won't buy one of those, but never did. But you've got some real goodies there, haven't you? Is that an FT? I don't know what that is. There's an FM rig I recognise. Is that an icon? No, it's an FT, I think. I can't think what it is. You've got loads of stuff. Oh, it's brilliant. Mate, I tell you what, no wonder you're selling stuff off. But that little radio looks cool, doesn't it? I'm really, really chuffed with that. That looks great. I'll go have a look into that and see what I can do. But I also noticed you built the ultimate whisper rig. I was looking at those in Sprat. They were advertising, or the guys had a link, and I was looking at the ultimate 3S. I wanted to set up a sort of a whisper beacon for band hopping, and I was looking at that idea, but it's never got any further really. Oh, shit, tremendous stuff here. What's that one? I can't see the name of it, but they all look very familiar. My friend used to have one of those F2757s. He had their lineup. That was lovely. Very nice indeed. I'd like to take you active on 70 SEMs. There's a contest on later on. I'm just going to go in with relatively low power, just for a little, give a few points about on SSB. But 70 SEMs, I think it starts at 3 o'clock, and it goes right the way through. There's the trophy today, and then it's right the way through on the other bands on the into Sunday. So we'll have to see. But well, it's great there, Mark. Sun G0 ORG.
Yeah, Golf Zero, Oscar Romeo Golf, Mike Zero, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot / QRP. Well, thanks for the good words there on my QRZ page. I mean, that is in a state of flux. It's always changing. You mentioned the 757GX. That's long gone. No, I sold that probably a year ago now. What I did pick up on Thursday, it's always a bit of a sad reason for collecting this radio, because it was a silent key sale at the club, but I picked up a very clean, I mean mint condition ICOM IC740. It's got a slightly flaky power supply. It sort of makes up its own mind whether it wants to power the radio up or not. So but from a 13.8 volt DC source, it works like rock solid. So I'm not too fussed for the money that I paid. As I say, very sad, when you get these radios the way you do. But yeah, I've only ever had 2 ICOMs in my life. I've had a 720A, and I had that the linear amplifier had gone haywire in it, so I removed the linear amplifier and used it as a QRP. Well, it wasn't really QRP, it was 20 watts, but I just used it as a low powered radio. We used that for a while and then moved that on. But yeah, this 740, as I say, it's a lovely radio. It's got a superb receive on it. Oh, absolutely superb receive. But yeah, the older stuff, I do like the older stuff, the hybrids and the valve equipment. I've started collecting that and basically storing it in the shack for restoration, as ongoing projects. They're not going to be overnight projects or anything, but I'm sort of securing me old age, as it were, in the hobby by buying the stuff now for a refurbishment later, when I'm sort of putting my feet up more often than not. So that's the story there. The Whisper, funnily enough, I haven't got around to finishing that yet, but I was going to use it the same thing. It was going to be a beacon, just to run, effectively 24 hours, and just to see where my signal was getting. Just a propagation sort of thing, I wasn't doing it to sort of score myself points or anything. It was just a propagation indicator. And of course, you can run a Whisper without being licensed, can't you? Because I think it falls into one of those categories that we've got in the UK, where you can run transmitters on incredibly low power. I'd have to look more into that. I won't. It's not as clear cut as that. I think you can probably still fall foul of some law somewhere, but it's worth exploring for those that are not licensed. But then these days, it's so easy in the UK to get your license, to get your it's M7 now, to get the foundation, that really there is no need to faff around ducking the law, as I suppose. But yeah, so ignore what I just said. I'm talking rubbish now. But you know what? I failed the RAE in 1978, and of course, after what I've just said, it's probably no great surprise there, Neil. But it took me a couple of attempts. I failed it in 1978. I was just a teenager and a stroppy teenager, so I threw my toys out the pram and become a pirate. Then in the early 80s, I actually went back to night school, and it was Kidbrooke Girls' School in Eltham, southeast London, and I only went for a couple of evenings, and at the time I was racing motorcycles, so I never sort of pursued it, the mechanical side, the spannering and that, and the racing was it just appealed to me more than the electronics and the learning, to be a radio ham. So I missed out on being a G4. I missed out on being a G0. Of course, you must have, I would imagine, being a G0, you either took the RAE RAE, the old school paper RAE, and then got your CW upgrade later to get your G0, or possibly you did the multiple guess, which is what I would have done the second time round, and then done your CW. That's just how I've got it sort of pictured in my mind. You can correct me on that. I don't think I gave you your report either, Neil. You're 5 and 7, little bit of QSB. You're just dipping towards sort of 5 and 5 every now and again. And I did see you peak once or twice at 5 and 8, but for the logbook, you're going in as 5 and 7. I do tend to ramble. I do tend to ramble on quite a lot as well, Neil. So I'll hand it back to you now. Golf 0, Oscar Romeo Golf, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, QRP.
Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, Joe Golf 0, Oscar Romeo Golf. Yeah, fine business, Mark. Yeah, there's some lovely old radios about there. And you mentioned the 740. ICOM in the 80s there had a whole brand, didn't they? They all look very similar, and they started to change them towards the latter part. But a lot of big knobs and big switches, and they really had some lovely gear. And the 740 was very typical of it, with the blue sort of display there and the nice meter. And not that you come across many of them second hand. So anyway, I'm glad it's got a good home from the Silent Key, and I'm sure you'll be able to keep it in good order there. And fine business about stacking up the things to do for later on. Well, I've done that. Then I've retired. Well, I've semi-retired, so I do still run my own business from home, but I'm not doing as much as I was. And I put loads of things away to do, and I haven't got enough time to do it, even when I'm not working. So there you go. But there you go. It's all done with good intention, isn't it? But yes, no, I took the RAE proper and the CW back then. It's quite interesting. A hell of a lot of work, but you know, the reward was we got your license, and then obviously to get on HF, wow, to the privilege of HF after you've done the board. You know, a lot of work to get there, and I have a problem sending and two physical issues, so I managed to get there, and I think you were allowed only one uncorrected mistake, and I think two corrected mistakes on sending, and all that sort of thing, and similar on receive. It wasn't easy, but boy, getting that, when I got that pass certificate, I mean, got my license, it was incredible. All that effort, you know, and it finally came about. But yeah, things have changed, haven't they? You know, they seem to be open and get a license in the post, basically, nowadays. Anyway, won't go there, Mark. But obviously, when you took your RE, you know all about it as well, originally. So that's just the way the cookie crumbles, isn't it? Horses for courses and all that. We could have loads and loads and loads of different ways we could just explain this acronym in different ways. Alright, mate, well, look, you carry on. I'll leave you with your radio. It looks really good. And I'm going to have a look at that QRP rig and see a bit more about it. So for now, I'll pass it back to you for the final. But I've enjoyed looking at it, and the visual tour of the shack past and some of those things gone. Looks good. And that 740, mate, if it's a 740 I'm thinking of from ICOM, that's a cracker. G0ORG.
Yeah, G0ORG M0JCF/QRP coming back for that final. Yeah, well, thanks for all the kind words, Neil, and thanks, for filling me in on your background, your background in ham radio. I mean, I didn't really give it much thought until about 2016, and I don't know, it was maybe on one of the forums or something like that. I picked up that they had this triple tier system. I knew that they'd gone to like a novice license and like a full license. I knew there'd been changes, and then they dropped the CW, etc. I knew all of that had happened, but then I sort of worked out in 2016 there was this triple tier system, but I still wasn't convinced, and then in 2017 I think I was maybe doing a bit of sporadic on 11 11 meters, and I thought to myself, do you know what, this foundation license lark, it just looks too simple. There's got to be something I'm missing. So anyway, I went to Bedars in Bromley. I went to the club there, and basically took me foundation, and I did the license in something like 10 minutes flat, and I got 25 out of 26. So I dropped a question, but probably because I did, you know, the 1 hour exam in about 10 minutes flat. So that was probably where I dropped off. But of course, it got me a pass, and then 5 months later, I got me intermediate. So that was in March 2018. I got the intermediate. Now, I would have taken the full that year, but exam day actually fell on my eldest daughter's birthday, and you know, I couldn't do that to my daughter. I couldn't be rushing off on her birthday to go and you know, take an exam for radio, for a hobby that she didn't understand or didn't even care about. And so it happened the next year. I went to Cray Valley, which is my local club, and I did the full license course and exam there, and of course I got it. So yeah, 40 years late, but I finally got it in 2019. I finally got me full license with all the privileges. So you know, it's all best foot forward. Let's not look to the past and carry on. It's been an absolute pleasure, Neil, and I'm really pleased that you come back to my QRP call, and I look forward to having a shout with you again, maybe on one of the old radios, on one of the old hybrids or valve sets, or maybe even that ICOM. I'll probably be using the ICOM next week. I never rush into these things when I first bought them, you know, knowing, well, not knowing, but finding out that this one had a slightly flaky power supply, and that, you know, I don't want to be rushing in and keying up and giving it 100 watts and all of that. But next week, I think next week I'll be using it in anger, and I'll crank the power up and just make sure there's no magic smoke left inside it, and all trying to get out, and then hopefully I'll talk to you on that one as well. So always listen out for me. I'm very active at the moment on 10 and 15 meters, because it's now the F2 layers giving us some good higher frequency DX. So you'll find me on 10 and 15 working DX mainly, but you'll find me on 40, 60 and 80 down, you know, lower down on these lower powered rigs, etc., having a bit of fun CQing. So just come and give us a shout, and we'll talk some more, Neil. All the very best, mate. Have a great weekend, and very best 73 to you and yours. Say bye-bye for now. G0 Oscar Romeo Golf Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot /QRP.
Yeah, very good, Mark. That's fantastic, yeah. I just think you'd have been a GA if you'd have got that RAE pass. And you know, probably only a few points off of it way back then. But as you say, it's been quite a journey, hasn't it? And you finally got it. So that champion, that's really good. And I think you were probably, much like myself, constructing and doing stuff with electronics back in the 70s and 80s, which is very nice. I guess we're probably similar age. So that's lovely. And lovely to hear you on that little rig. That's super. I don't know if you're a member of the GQRP club, but if you're not, I recommend it. £6 a year, and there's lots and lots of things to encourage you in the magazine. But maybe you are a member already of the GQRP club. All right, Mark, been a pleasure, and nice to hear you with your 5 watts there doing okay. Normally we hear the QRP station. There should always be a magic 5 and 9 plus. I never work it out. Cheers, mate. 73 Renault Cynical G0 M0JTF 73 G0ORG. It's been a treat, Mark. Bye bye.
Yeah, cheers, mate. And I am a member of GQRP Club, and I'm just videoing this. I've just shown on the camera my copy of Sprat magazine, the spring edition of Sprat magazine. There you go. I'm one step ahead of you, mate. Always one step ahead of another ham, if I can help it. Oh, I run out of breath there. Cheers, mate. Best 73. Bye bye for now. QRZ. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot /QRP. CQ40, 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 CQ40. This is Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie Foxtrot, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie Foxtrot, calling CQ40 QRP. CQ40, 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 Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie Foxtrot / QRP. Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie Foxtrot / QRP, calling 40. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40. This is Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie Foxtrot / QRP, calling 40.